Hi friends, I'm here to enrich y'all with another video from Hornbill. In this video, we are going to pursue the lesson, the Browning version written by Terence Rattigan. If you're watching my video for the first time, please subscribe Ayishu's English Grow and click on the bell icon. About the author. Sir Terence Rattigan was a British dramatist. He was one of England's most popular mid-20th century dramatists. His plays are typically set in an upper-middle-class background. He wrote The Winslow Boy, the Browning version, The Deep Blue Sea, and Separate Tables, among many others. Let's pursue the main theme. The Browning version is an extract from a play by Terence Rattigan. Taplow, a 16-year-old student, has to meet his teacher, Mr.Crocker-Harris, at 6:30 p.m. in order to make up for some classes he had missed. While he waits for Mr. Harris, he meets Frank, a science teacher in the school, and the two get into conversation. Mostly, they talk about Mr. Crocker-Harris, whom Taplow calls Croc. Mr. Crocker-Harris emerges as a strict disciplinarian who speaks gently even when he is not saying anything pleasing to the students. In spite of his strictness, Taplow likes him and Frank envies him. He is not a sadist like some other teachers. Towards the end of the play, Millie, Crocker-Harris's wife, enters. She knows about Taplow's extra work. She sends him away. Now let's pursue the summary of the play. The scene is set in a good school. Taplow, a boy of 16, has come in to do extra work for his master, Mr. Crocker-Harris. He has not yet arrived. Another master, Frank, younger in years than Mr. Crocker-Harris, finds Taplow waiting. Incidentally, it is the last day of the term. Taplow is a student in the lower 5th form. He does not know whether he will get his division all right or not. He tells Frank that Mr. Crocker-Harris does not tell them the results like the other masters. Frank informs Taplow that there is a rule that form results should only be announced by the headmaster on the last day of the term. Taplow says that no one except Mr. Crocker-Harris pays attention to it. Frank then asks Taplow what he would like to study if his result is favorable. Taplow indicates his preference for science. Frank remarks that they get all the slackers in science. Taplow disagrees with him and says that he is extremely interested in science. Frank observes frankly that he is not interested in the science he is to teach. Taplow, on the other hand, finds the study of Greek play Agamemnon mock. His objection is to the way the play is taught to them, just a lot of Greek words strung together and 50 lines if one gets them wrong. Taplow's answer showed that he is feeling a bit bitter. Frank is surprised that Taplow has come in to do extra work even on the last day of school. Taplow says that he missed a day last week when he was ill, so he has to put in extra work. The weather is quite fine and he might be playing golf. He knows that Mr. Crocker-Harris must be quite busy then, as he is leaving the school for good the next day. The conversation then shifts to Mr. Crocker-Harris. Taplow had asked him the previous day if he had given him a good division, and he said that he had given Taplow exactly what he deserved, no less and certainly no more. Taplow is afraid that he might have marked him down rather than up for taking extra work. The man is hardly human. Frank then encourages Taplow to repeat the remarks of Mr. Crocker-Harris. Frank does not find his imitation up to mark and asks him to read his Aeschylus and be quiet. Frank suggests to Taplow that he might cut the class and play golf, as Mr. Crocker-Harris has not turned up. Taplow is shocked at the suggestion, as he can't think of ever doing so. Frank envies Mr. Crocker-Harris for the effect he has on the boys. They seem scared to death of him. Taplow says that Croc is not a sadist like other masters. He would not be so frightening if he were. It would then seem that he had some feelings. He seems dry like a nut and hates people to like him. Still, Taplow likes him. Sometimes Mr. Crocker-Harris sees it and he shrivels up even more. Taplow then relates an incident when his master related one of his classical jokes in the class. Nobody laughed as they couldn't understand it. Taplow laughed as he knew he had meant it as funny. He felt sorry for his master for having made such a poor joke. Taplow has forgotten the joke but offers to imitate the reaction of Mr. Crocker-Harris. The laughter of Mr. Frank encourages Taplow to do so. Frank seems to enjoy the joke and asks Taplow to tell it to others. In the meanwhile, Millie Crocker-Harris enters. Frank and Taplow are surprised to see her. Taplow is afraid that she might have overheard their joke. If she told her husband, Taplow's division would be in danger. Frank dismisses his fear. Millie tells Taplow that her husband is at the Bruises and might be there quite a time. She says that if she were Taplow, she would go. Taplow is filled with doubt. He says that Mr. Crocker-Harris had specially asked him to come. Millie then suggests that he might run away for a quarter of an hour and come back. Taplow is still uncertain and wonders what will happen if he gets there before his arrival. Millie offers to take the blame. She then hands him over a prescription and asks him to go to the chemist and get it made up. Thus, he can do a job for him. Taplow agrees and leaves the room. In old British schools, much stress was laid on the study of classical languages, Latin and Greek. Students of the lower fifth form were made to learn a classic play like the Agamemnon. Since the stress was on the acquisition of language, the students found it disinteresting and very unpleasant. They could specialize only after completing fifth form. There was a system of punishment. For a simple error, one had to repeat 50 lines. Students were also kept in or called for extra work. They were mortally afraid of teachers like Mr. Crocker-Harris, who would abide by rules and show no human feelings. At the same time, the school had teachers who were sadists and others who would break the rules and tell results to the students. Students like Taplow were afraid of hard masters like Mr. Crocker-Harris, still they liked him. Hope you all understood this video. Thank you.